This is a camera. What I just did is called photography. Photography allows us to take an exact moment in time and put it onto a physical copy. It's been around for almost 200 years, and it's allowed us to do things like documenting the world wars all the way to taking the presidential portraits. The skill of taking amazing photos is something that I think everybody should have. So today, I'm going to be showing you several tips and tricks on how to become a better photographer. The first step in using your camera is, of course, turning it on. You do this by flipping the on-off switch next to this dial up on top. Next thing you want to do is take a photo with your camera. You do this by holding down the button for a short period of time next to the lens. After you hear a beep, you press it down even further and you will take a picture. Sometimes, especially in the winter time, your camera can get either really dirty or foggy. You're going to want to be able to clean it. So the first step in cleaning it is taking off the lens. You do this by holding down this button right here next to it and then twisting the lens clockwise. And then it'll come right off. And you can clean the lens with a clean rag. Now to put the lens back on your camera, you want to position it exactly in the way you took it off, and then you just turn it counterclockwise and it should click back right into place. Now you can have multiple lenses for your cameras for different purposes. This one is the one I typically have attached. You can turn it clockwise and counterclockwise to see it extend, which will increase magnification. However, this lens I have here allows for far greater distance viewing through your camera. When you look through your viewfinder, which should be right above your screen, you may notice that everything looks blurry. Well, remember when I said we hold down this button before taking a picture? That is to focus the camera on the subject. To focus your subject, you want to point your camera directly at what it is and then hold down the button. This will give you that beep again and will allow you to clearly see whatever you're looking for. Now, I know what you're thinking now. Oh, Brian, what does this little spinny dial on top of my camera do? Well, I'll tell you what it does. This dial is to help you change the modes of your camera. These different modes on your camera are each suited to fit a specific environment, such as taking portraits, taking landscape photos, or taking photos at night. Your ISO number is going to talk about your light sensitivity of your camera. To edit this from the main menu, you want to press the up arrow above your set button. This will give you a range of numbers from 100 to 6200. You can just select any of these to alter your camera's light sensitivity. Remember, the lower number means it is less sensitive to light and more suitable for higher light environments, while your higher number means it is more sensitive to light, which is best suited for dark environments. Your shutter speed is going to mean how fast your camera actually takes the photo after you press the photo button. To edit this setting from the main menu, you want to switch this dial left and right next to the photo button. This will be able to change how fast your camera takes the photo. It starts at a base setting of 1/125th of a second. This is recommended for most normal photography. To set a timer on your camera, you can press the left arrow next to the set button, which will take you to a new menu. This will allow you to select what you want your timer to be, if you want it on or off, and will allow you to select the exact time it takes. For example, here is the 10-second timer. To turn the flash on and off in your regular settings, you can use this light arrow right next to the shutter speed dial, and it will turn up your camera's light. Now we get to the fun part for me and the rest of the video for you, which is the first step in taking some good photos is acknowledging your environment. Right now, you can see we're in a pretty well-lit environment with some soft lighting and very vibrant colors. In a setting like this one, you're going to want to do your best to take advantage of your environment and capture the best photos you can. What we're looking for is photos with a lot of color and a lot of vibrance. Obviously, since we're in the middle of an open field, our main aspect for this photo shoot is going to be of the landscape. You're going to want to look for two things. One of those being capturing multiple aspects of nature, whether that be the land, the sky, or water. The second aspect is capturing as much of a wide picture as you can. If I were to have found myself in a more urban environment, my main goal for that shoot would be of the cityscape. When doing cityscape photography, you want to look less for the depth of the picture and less for the vibrance, and more of taking the most grand picture you can, and trying to capture the little details in the buildings around you. When looking for a location to shoot landscape photography, you want to look for a location that has depth, detail, and good natural lighting. I picked this scene behind me because you have a lot of detail in the nature in it, a lot of depth as in how far it goes back, and the natural lighting of the sun is very good in this location. When looking for ways to position your camera during landscape photography, typically you want to look for creative ways to incorporate all the elements that make up a landscape photo. For this example, I took a picture of a tree from down a hill while capturing the sun in between its branches. This incorporates a lot of elements from depth to lighting. It's important to note that in the photo I just showed you, there's a pretty intense lack of color. This is a little bit different from your typical landscape photography. However, it makes up with this difference by having a lot of detail and contrast in lighting. In landscape photography, typically what you'll mostly see is a lot of contrast with natural lighting of the sun. In this photo I just showed you, I took an up-close photo of a tree while capturing the sun in the background. This photo maintains the detail of the tree while also casting the shadow from behind the sun, as well as showing the sun itself to add the lighting. There is really no set definition for what makes up a good photo. However, there's a lot of common characteristics in what we all commonly see as good photos. A few questions to ask yourself when looking for how good your photography is are: you're always going to want to take your photo in the way that you want your environment to be seen. If you're going to be taking a landscape photo and you take a picture straight down at the grass, that's not going to please many people. However, if you incorporate many plants and trees and lakes and skies, then that will be a better photo. Overcrowding a photo can have a very important impact on what the viewer thinks of it. However, a lot of the time this is done accidentally, and when it is, it often distracts the viewer from what the photo really means. Typically, you're only going to want to have one or a few subjects in your photo, as to keep the main focus on them and attract all the details in the rest of the photo towards the subject. You're always going to want your photo's tone to match the tone of your environment. If you want to take a happy photo in a field of flowers, but all you're doing is capturing the flowers' shadows, that's not going to match up the tone very well. You're going to want joyful and happy tones for joyful and happy environments, and more somber tones for more somber environments. For this photo, my intention is to look less at lighting and depth and more at the detail of what my subject is. Since I want to focus only on the texture, I will be including only the rocks in my photos, and I'll be doing my best to get at an angle where I can see the texture the best. Now, let's see what I can get. For this photo, I want to capture more of the vibrance and the detail in the surrounding area. Since we have a little bit more natural lighting from the sun, we can begin looking into some of those shadows and reflections of the sunlight off of it. I'll be doing my best to capture some of that reflection on the plant life while also capturing their color. I would say we're pretty successful here. Now I've shown you some tips and tricks on how to become a better photographer. I haven't shown you everything though, so I encourage you all to go out there into the wild and take some of your own photos to discover some things for yourselves. I really hope I've been useful to all of you, and I've been glad to teach you today. Have a nice day, and thank you for watching. This one, you can turn it either counterclockwise or clockwise to zoom. That's not good. Pretend I did that first time, please. For more somber environments. Ah! Oh god. Ah!